What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So we are back for another episode review of Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, Season 6, Episode 19. Girl, let's just get into it. Clearly the season is is winding down because the way they stretch these scenes out in this episode just to give us a full hour and 30 minutes or an hour without commercials, it was crazy. Because honestly, I would no, I ain't even gonna lie and say that because Daniel and Bianca, they done. She back in Florida. Okay. She back in Florida. He up in rehab in jail or whatever. Um what else was going on? Who else is on this show that we haven't really seen this whole season yet? Either way. Let's just get into it for a second, okay? Um, let's get the minimal out the way. Courtney and Will. Honestly, after she signed the divorce papers and we seen them the last time, we did not need to see them anymore because their scene this episode was pointless, okay? And when I mean pointless, I mean pointless, okay? Because all we found out was he feels some type of way, and at the end of the day, it's really understandable, especially if you went through some things with a person and you truly cared about them so much and you thought that what you had was real, and it doesn't go the way that you wanted to go, and y'all break up, but then y'all still dealing with each other in one way or another. So yeah, them feelings is gonna be raw and emotional and all of that, and it's still gonna be heavy. But in this case, I'm gonna need Will to wake it up. Okay, William, wake it up, baby boy. At the end of the day, you got on a prison website, connected with somebody that just wanted to use you for convenience, for money, for material things and all of that. That's just really what it was. You, in a sense, were a sugar daddy, just like everybody else that's been up in Courtney's life. Because, I did want to know without knowing. Okay. Because the only difference is she took it a little bit step further because and went on ahead and got married to you. Honestly, I feel like because the cameras was on. That's what it was. Because y'all both signed up to be on the show. That's just what it was. If it had not been for them being on TV, baby, you would have been a trick just like Mark, okay? With no ring. That's literally what it was, And you got your feelings hurt because you was doing whatever you was doing. You probably was in your pathetic mode, okay? You was in your pathetic, desperate era because you even said later on that had you not been feeling you lonely and desperate or whatever, you wouldn't have got on that website and you wouldn't have had any going through none of this stuff, okay? You feeling lonely and desperate and all that stuff because we all do at one point or another. Trust me, I understand, okay? But what we not gonna do, baby, I'd rather you get on Plenty of Fish before getting on prisonpals.com. Okay? And we know Plenty of Fish is the bottom of the barrel. Maybe you need to go on Grinder, okay? I don't know. Maybe you need to switch it out. But William, at this point, given her attitude, you shouldn't even, and I know at the end of the day, sometimes in certain situations we want closure. We just got to understand that in some situations, we're never going to get it. The closure is the relationship being over, whether we get them to say that they did this wrong or that wrong, or if they really have feelings, or if this will come back and all that stuff. Baby, no. With a bitch like Courtney, she has no feelings. She don't know what love is, okay? That lady never loved you. She looked at you as a resource, as a sponsor. That's literally what you were, okay? That's why she popped up with a new dude, and come to find out, she did that shit just to make you jealous. She told the producer lady, bitch, I just met that man last night. That's trifling. Why would you want to be with somebody like that? And you already know that she's ran through. And granted, I ain't got no problem with somebody that's ran through, but it's the way that she doing it. She doing that shit so nastily to get back at him. And it's just like, girl, because, we all got a pass. Listen, be sexually free. I don't care. I'd never police somebody's body like that. Just be safe with it and don't be hurting people. And that's the problem. She is up here deliberately hurting people and using people with it, But at the same time, you can't be as naive. But she, and I'm gonna be real honest. She's not a looker. I'm gonna leave it like that. She's not a looker. Okay. So I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe because I don't prefer white women, but I've seen some bad looking white women. I mean, some bad looking white women. Y'all know my top bad white woman is Angelina Jolie. And you want to know who else I think is real fan to me? Sandra Bullock has always been fan to me. Bitch. Julia Roberts, too. Girl. Yeah, I give them a chance if they throw it my way. You know what I'm saying? Even now, it is what it is. Bitch, Practical Magic 2 has finished filming. Oh my God, I cannot wait. That was my movie, bitch. That was my movie. Okay, but anyway, yeah, girl. Let it go. Because she did all that to make you jealous, and then come to find out they had fucked the night before. That's why he going through all the motions. You got to cut that off. Cut it off cold turkey. Because but then again, Will look like he got a humiliation kink, okay? Because that lady said all that shit to you prior. She put you through all of that mess prior. The same thing that she did. She even laughed in your face in this time. And I'm pretty sure before he went back home, they did it again. Okay? Because sometimes, we just got to put ourselves through some shit to get over it. All right? And you going to let that lady put you through it. Okay? And, she was talking all that mess. You was talking all that mess. Y'all still wind up fucking each other. So it happens. It happens. But, baby, you're going to have to go cold turkey. Once you leave Courtney, you're going to have to leave her out the dust. Okay? Block the number. Get a new number. Get a new phone. All that stuff. Delete everything. Delete your trash. Okay? Delete the iCloud and everything. You're just going to have to wipe everything. Factory reset. That's what you're going to have to do with Miss Girly because she is not worth it. Moving on from that, Michael and Justine. Michael, Miguel, I don't want you to go back to the streets. You came too far. Baby boy, I need you to open up your mouth and to tell your wife exactly what's going on. Because you keep hinting at it. You keep putting it out there that, like in this episode, I could go out there. You want me to go get a brick? Because I can get a brick and flip that in a minute. And we can have all the money that we need for this wedding and all this stuff, whatever. And she was like, you a grown-ass man. I'm not going to tell you to go back out in the street and make these decisions or whatever. But, you do what you got to do. At the end of the day, I'm kind of over Justine and Michael, but they do got a real issue with this money thing. But I just do not believe in this going into debt and practically stressing yourself out to the point where you are literally, anxiety ridden and you can barely sleep at night. You don't know where the money coming from because you're worried about trying to satisfy your wife and her need for this wedding. Baby, we're not about to go into the poorhouse. We're not about to file bankruptcy. We're not about to sell this and sell that just so you can have your multi-$1,000 wedding at this moment, because you can't wait until we get everything financially secured and everything stable to the point where I feel comfortable enough that I can afford this for you. Plus, our kids can still be fine in the long run. Because and this is why I look at things like this, like you spending all of this money for this one event that could be used for your daughter's college probably tuition, the other daughter's college tuition, the kids' clothes for school, their supplies and medical things and all of that stuff, right? That's where I feel like the money should be going to. But we are and should be afforded to have those extracurricular activities or whatever, only if we can truly afford it. I do not believe in stressing myself out over some money. If I don't have the money to give to that particular thing, that thing gonna have to wait until I can comfortably be okay with it. And that's what Justine don't understand, okay? That man is stressing the fuck out. The fact that he had to get on the phone, y'all are on a vacation to de-stress yourself. But he is even more stressed than we done seen him this whole season. And he had to get on the phone and call his mama and ask her to send him $1,000. What? Yeah, calm it down, Justine. You making me feel... I'm just going to say this. Michael will always have like a... y'all know. I still like Michael. Michael will always have a soft spot in my heart just because. But at the end of the day, Michael, you need to open up your goddamn mouth. But I do appreciate the fact, and I do like the fact that Justine and her mama did have a conversation. They were getting along for the most part in this episode. Well, this meeting. They were getting along for the most part. They did have a conversation before they left. And she was basically, it all comes down to the daddy issues. I'm just gonna say this because I don't want to just single anybody out. If you look at these people on this show and on any other show, especially when you see this type of situation with Justine and her mom, this is why it is very much important for kids to know who their parents are and for their parents to be actively in their life. I don't give a good goddamn if you have money and you're sending child support and you think that, if a person got money, that's fine. They can have as many kids as they want. You can send a child support and you financially taking care of them. That's fine or whatever. But at the end of the day, your presence is more of an impact than the money. Okay. And then if you're not even there nor giving the money, oh, that's some shit. You shouldn't be having kids. Okay. Because for you to put this stress and to put this damage and trauma on your child just because you probably didn't want them or you couldn't take care of them for whatever reason, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. 9 out of 10, these kids don't matter. They don't care that much to have all the material things. Yeah, they be like, I want this toy, I want that toy. But at the end of the day, they just really would be happy to have you actively in their life. And then to hear Justine, because that goes on and it affects them throughout their life. And for Justine mama to say, well, I truly don't understand how is it that something happened to you when you're younger and then you bring it into adulthood and you're still, this abandonment issues are still happening or whatever. But, we can get together, go and talk about it and work about it and I'll probably understand more. I need to know where Justine mama come from. Like, do she come from a household that had two parents, you know what I'm saying, and was abundance of love and everything, and she was sheltered and closed off from everybody else's issues, and so therefore she don't know or understand that, abandonment issues happen all the time, and that is a real thing and where they come from. Because yes, things that happen in childhood can be presented in adulthood, okay? Especially if it's negative. Especially if it's negative, That's exactly why your daughter is going through what she's going through. When she started talking about how she's only seen her father a few times and given that one time where he popped up for her birthday, and then when she turned around and tell her friends, oh, this is my daddy, he was gone. Came in and left. Like, you might as well didn't even show up if you was just going to come in for 2 seconds and leave like that. And so because of that, she's taking that feeling out because she can't take it out on him because she don't know where he's at. And he really don't give a damn. She going to take it out on the mom. And then the way the mom acts and respond, because 9 out of 10, her mother is still pissed off at the daddy for doing that to them too. So they're taking their frustration with the father out on each other, and that's just really what it is. And I hate that he a black man and just being a deadbeat, because you already know we got all them, connotations and stereotypes on us as it is, and you up here doing this shit, and it's just really messed up, because at the end of the day, you cannot fuck with the mama, but you still got to be with the kids, You cannot fuck with the daddy, but you still got to be there for the kids. The kids should not be affected, and that's unfortunate that it's a lot of people out here who are parents who do not know how to co-parent. That's just really, really trifling. Really, really freaking trifling. But yeah, I do hope that their relationship get a little bit better. I got hope for them. Justine and Michael will be okay. Because one thing Michael gonna do, he gonna find a way. He gonna find a hustle. Yeah. Leticia and Keith. So Leticia had to go to goddamn court. And basically, when we saw her last week, she was trying to get a hold of her lawyer so that she can get down to the bottom of what they're going to do. The status of this, theft case that she got, from a former client of this tax business and everything. Okay, cool. The lawyer was not answering her calls, but then he finally responded. And basically, they came up with this situation where she either take a plea, guilty to doing whatever was said, and then just get probation, pay the fines and all of this stuff, and no jail time. And this will it'll also allow them not to bring up her past charges. Oh, so she's a felon too. Now, girl, I know that she had some things back in her day, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that I thought it was like misdemeanors. Oh, no, she's a felon. I said, what? Leticia. No wonder. And let me tell you something. Her getting with Keith, a nigga that was in jail, all of her stuff, her past, it all makes sense, okay? Because listen, we both got things in common, and one of those things in common is we scammy and we both jailbirds. That's just really what it is. So their union kind of does make sense. Everybody else just deliberately going and finding somebody in jail for whatever reason, that don't make sense to me. But them, they got a pass, okay, with the courts. And so, she ain't want to go to jail forever, and if she didn't take the plea, they're risking, going to trial. And once they go to trial, it could possibly get her 15 years. You know what I'm saying? And so eventually they do go to court. She wound up taking the plea because they did have that whole situation of where would my kids go? Her oldest daughter's father is very much active in their lives, in her life or whatever. So she'll go to him if something was to happen to her. But then, she was like, she didn't really want the youngest daughter to get her father, her biological father, to get like custody and all that stuff. Because she looks at Keith as her actual dad, and that'd be confusing and all that stuff. And if you saw the way that he responded to all of that, he was like, we'll figure that out when it comes to it, basically. And all I was like, the way that y'all prop this up to make it seem like that little girl loves him so much, which she does, calls him daddy all the time, and that he equally feels the same. I'm not saying that he don't equally feel the same, but I would have expected him to say, well, shit, if you go to jail, I'm here for her. That's my baby. I'm going to be taking care of her. You ain't got to worry about that. That is not the energy that he gave. He gave we'll have to figure it out and see what happens. What? Leticia was like, listen, I just want to know if he gonna, hold me down if I go to jail or whatever, because, it's different from when a man go to jail to being held down by a woman, and then when a woman go to jail and getting held down by a man, it don't necessarily happen. And you are 100% correct in this situation. Case in point, he probably holds you down and get you money and all that stuff and whatever, but is he gonna be faithful to you? Absolutely not. And truth be told, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out that he's not faithful to you as it is when y'all been together this whole time. Listen, prime example, Papoose and Remy Ma. Y'all gotta be a fool to think that man, I know we loving black love, we love that or whatever. He was very much supportive of her and keeping her name out there, whatever, when she was in jail those 7 years. But was he faithful to her those 7 years in jail? No. And 9 out of 10, they probably had an arrangement. So that's just what it is, okay? And look at where they at now. About to be divorced. Got their own separate boyfriends and girlfriends. That's, And when they was having that conversation or whatever, I said, Leticia, he basically said, nah, he ain't gonna hold you down. He is not gonna wait on you. So you might as well just move on. That's just all that it is, okay? And at this point, baby girl, you are looking at actual years, and I'm pretty sure you're going to jail for this latest charge. Not that charge that was on TV, but the latest charge that we talked about that happened in August. Baby, yeah, you're gonna go to jail. And he's not, and you're getting years because you already got old shit on you, plus the other shit. Oh yeah, they finna accumulate that shit, and you're going to jail. And he's not gonna stay. It's unfortunate, but he's not gonna stay. Moving on from that, Joella and Kiana and Deandre. And listen, Joella, she went over there to talk to his daddy, and the daddy said, at the end of the day, you got to have some growth, okay? I know sometimes you want justice, you won't get back, but then justice and get back look like growing. Basically trying to tell her, I'm not trying to judge you for going ahead and being petty and filing charges and assuming that girl did that to your car, but to press charges on her, that's kind of fucked up. Okay, and I can't stand by that. And then Joella looked like she was trying to have a change of heart because she was like, Kiana got kids, and she got to do what she got to do to provide for her kids. So I wouldn't want to put them through that or whatever. And at the end of the day, I just feel like all of this is stupid. All of this is stupid, and I just wish the person who actually did this would come come to the fore. Come forward and say you did it. Okay? And Deandre don't really care. Deandre don't really care. I just really want y'all to understand that. He don't really care. He don't want nothing to happen to Kiana because he need a place to stay. And honestly, if something were to happen to Kiana, let's say she was to get charged with something and then they go to court, they find her guilty, they throw her in jail for a couple of minutes, and he gonna be over there at Joella's house. Joella will take him back in a second. Joella talk about something she finna be done with all of them or whatever. Joella, you want us to say and see that Kiana is such a bad person. Which 9 out of 10, I wouldn't put it past you because, listen, I don't put nothing past anybody. Okay? I wouldn't put nothing past anybody. She could definitely be a bad person. But what we're seeing is your ass doing some salty, bitter ass baby mama shit. Okay, because you can't get that man. And that man don't want you, but you keep on letting him fuck on you. Stop letting him fuck on you. Just let him come up. Well, actually, don't even let him come over to the house to get the kids. Pick the kids up at the park. That's what y'all got to do. Pick the kids up at the park. You tell us something you don't want to have nothing to do with them no more. You don't want to see them no more. All of that shit. You still probably fucking on them. If he called you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, I need my dick sucked, you gonna do it. Bitch, Leticia gonna tell Keith in the car after they came out of court, I feel like sucking dick. I said, girl, what? That's nasty. That is nasty. I was about to say, how do y'all put that in y'all mouth? But then again, I put my mouth on other stuff. So there's that. Let me take that back. Because I know somebody was about to cut. Well, you do. Well, how you put your mouth on? Touche. You know what I'm saying? Touche. Girl, I don't care. I really, the Joella, Deandre, and Kiana storyline has run stale for me. Okay? It is stale. Who else is in this episode? What did I say? We did Michael and Justina. We did Will and Courtney. We did Joella and Deandre. See, I didn't gave them a name. Joella. Bitch, if y'all was together, that would have been y'all couple name. Who started that? Benifer. That's when it happened. Jennifer Benifer. But anyway, we got them. It felt like it was more people up in here besides the one that I'm finna get to. JK and Brooke. Baby, when I tell you, I don't know if there's been anybody else. I can't remember if I've ever disliked the person on this show as much as I've disliked Brooke now, or since the beginning. Brooke is just trash. Granted, she's dealing with trash. I still prefer JK over her ass. And he a dog ass mother. Okay? He's a fuck boy who ain't got shit and a drug addict. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we're not gonna do this, okay? Like, the way, okay, Alex went over there, you know, Alex. JK went over there to talk to Alex. Alex said, bitch, at the end of the day, you know, we'll find out who the baby daddy is later. Don't fuck with me right now because you keep on trying to act like you want me, but then you don't want me. You want to go back over there to her. You a grown-ass man. Make up your fucking mind. And I feel bad for her, too. I feel bad for her just slightly. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, men, they'll put that thing on you, I guess. I've never experienced that, but from what I've noticed, they'll put a thing on you, get a little hypnotized to it and dickmatized to it, and they'll be spitting that game. Oh, I can say some shit about something, but I ain't gonna put myself out there because I ain't finna be no fuck nigga. I'm not a fuck nigga, okay? I just want y'all to know. I'm just a little toxic. That's just it. But not this level, okay? I'm not finna be ping-ponging and getting, well, I can't get bitches pregnant, but if I could. Anyway, I wouldn't because I ain't got the money for it. You know, you can, I'm not ready. And so, it's like you playing, and that girl Alex really do want to be with him. Brooke At this point, I don't know if Brooke wants to be with him because she truly wants to be with him, or if she wants to be with him because she wants to win against Alex. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a competition. You know what I'm saying? She really feels like she better than Alex in every way. But at the end of the day, Alex is living in her own place, right? Alex doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? The family actually likes her. And for the most part, besides allowing and fucking on this man while he in a relationship, I actually don't have a problem with Alex. Compared to Brooke, Brooke is too much. And I would have been broke up with Brooke. No, I would have never got with her. Because that is a complete turn off the way that she acts, okay? And in this episode, it solidified it. You calling this man back to back, and you getting so incensed and in your feelings because he's not answering your phone calls to the point where you're like, I'm finna either go to Alex's house or I'm finna go to his mama's house. Now, if I go this direction, that's Alex. And if I go this direction, that's his mama. Which one I'm gonna go to? But either way, I'm finna fan his ass and I'm finna cuss him out and he finna do this and da. And I'm like, oh my God, girl, calm the fuck down. What are you gonna do? Alex is gonna beat your ass again. And this time she probably really gonna beat your ass for real, because she's in her feelings because this man is just, doing the most with her. Okay? And he doing the most with you. You have no stake in this thing right about now. Alex, on the other hand, is a possibility that he might be her daddy, baby daddy. And I pray to God that he's not. Okay? Alex, I want you to free yourself from him. Free yourself. Okay? Go ahead and free yourself. You want me then to talk to me. Okay? Free yourself, girl. But Brooke, she winds up going to the directions to Kathy's house. JK winds up getting in the car. He's telling us, this whole situation where Alex and Brooke is crazy. Alex is such a good girl. I do got feelings for her. I do love her. I do this and all that. But Brooke, she my baby. She was there for me when I really needed her and all of that shit or whatever. Okay. But I was just fucking off on Alex because, she was getting on my goddamn nerves. That's your baby. She been through it with you or whatever. But when she start getting on your nerves, you go out and cheat on her with the girl that you really want to be with. What sense does that make? Just break up with that bitch and get with her, because I'm guaranteed you Alex will take you in a second. Alex will take you in a second. But then again, he probably scared of what Brooke might do. Brooke gives me fatal attraction. Okay? Femme fatale, fatal attraction, whichever one you want to call it. She gives me that. You know what I'm saying? She gives me, he gonna find a bunny up in the family pet gonna be boiling on the stove in Kathy's house, and Kathy at work didn't know nothing about it. Okay? And that's just really what it gives. Brooke is crazy, and I don't like it. He finally comes home, mind you, and then when he look at the phone log and see that he had 11 missed calls from Brooke. I'm sorry about that. Them sirens came and they was a little down for me. Okay? But 11 missed calls from Brooke. And he started listening to the voicemails and she was just going off and everything. You ain't answering up your phone. It don't take that long to answer no phone and just punch that green little button and all this stuff, motherfucker. Brooke talks down to him. And I don't give a good goddamn how you feel about a person, if they on drugs, if they alcoholic, or if they this or that or whatever. If we're in a relationship, regardless of what's going on, I'm not going to talk down to you. I'm not going to talk down to you and make you feel lower than you probably already feel with the situation that you got going on. That ain't love, bitch. Okay? And then for you to just be, oh my God, he could have been in a ditch, hurt, couldn't get to his phone and got to a car accident, probably in the hospital, and you talking all this junk on the phone like that. People got to be careful what they say and how they say that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so you do all of that even though that ain't happened. But I'm just saying, because the way that she be going off is just really ridiculous, okay? One day I just really want Egg to be on her face so bad. I want her jaw to be on the floor and she can't pick it back up because she irks me that bad. And so if you listening to all of this and you saying that's your baby or whatever, you listening to the messages and you could just tell he is over it. That ain't your baby. Like, why are you still with the girl? So he goes home he tells his mom and his stepdaddy, well, I was over there at Alex's place. They was like, where you at? Because, you know, Brooke was calling and all that stuff. Where you at? He said, well, I was over there at Alex's house, and Alex said it's a possibility that I may be the father of her child. And the stepdaddy, David, was just like, God damn, I like me some David, bitch. David ain't holding his tongue back, his expressions back, or nothing. Sugarcoat my ass. Why the fuck you doing this shit, son? I told you don't need to be doing all this. God damn it. And now when Brooke found out, I don't want that shit over here, okay? Because the bitch is crazy. He don't like Brooke. And it's understandable because she just do too fucking much. She's so goddamn much for no reason. Then she pops up. Kathy said, well, you ain't gonna have that shit up in my house, okay? You need to tell that little girl, don't come over here, don't bring that shit over here, whatever. And it was like, well, if she pop up or if she call, tell her I'm not here. He goes in the back. And he probably wasn't even in the back for a good 5-10 minutes before all of a sudden somebody knocking at the door. Bang, 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 bang. Open up the door. If JK there, open up the door. I was like, oh my God. And then it was just the way that she came to the door. The daddy opened up the door and it was like, where your son at? Where JK at? Hello, how are you? Fuck all of that. Where JK at? Because I've been trying to call this motherfucker. No, where he at? Because I know you know where he at. Okay, Ann, this is my house. Okay, Ann. It was just the way that she was talking so disrespectfully to them. And that right there would have been it for me. If I would have gave you chance after chance, but then you come into my parents' home and you're talking to them snappy like that with no respect at all, and then gonna say, I'm talking to you calm. Where the hell he at? I know you know where he at. Bring your ass. Go get him. Go get him. Tell me where he at. Where he been at. He out there taking a shower. So you mean to tell me he been taking a shower all day? Bitch, don't come into my house with your shit. Okay, at that moment in time, Kathy, you should have just went on ahead and called the cops and told her to get the fuck out. Because we not finna do this. Mind you, Kathy said, we live in a nice neighborhood, or not necessarily a nice neighborhood, a quiet neighborhood. You don't do all that shit. Don't bring that shit over here. And sure enough, JK opened up the door. He said, bitch, why you doing all this? Why you so loud? Why you come up in here talking to my parents like that and blah, blah, blah? Because I've been trying to talk to you and all. Now there you going, blah, 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 blah. They go outside. Bitch, I'm pretty sure one of the neighbors called the cops because at the end of the episode, you hear the police pull up. And she was like, I know you fucking lying. And I said, no, bitch. Kathy just said, this is a quiet neighborhood. Y'all outside arguing. Or I should say, you're outside arguing real loud. So therefore, yeah, they heard that shit. They called the cops. And I'm not even mad at it. I'm not even mad at it. And then at this point, I guess JK is just fed up because he did say he wasn't going to tell Brooke anything about this whole situation with Alex and the possible him being the baby daddy and all this shit or whatever. And so he was like, you know what? Well, fuck it. I might as well just go ahead and tell you what it is. I was over there kicking it with Alex. You know why? And then it went off. Let me tell you something. JK, I wish you had sisters. Kathy, I wish you had grandkids. Well, at least some nieces and nephews or no nieces that was living in the house with you or that was close by that you could call up because Brooke needs to be dealt with. I'm sorry, I'm not here for violence like that, but I just did not appreciate the way that she came up into their house like that. Listen, you don't disrespect people's parents' homes, okay? It's bad enough y'all be all up in there when he first came out or whatever, and y'all was on somewhat of good terms. Y'all was fucking all over their house. Y'all was fucking all over their house. And then you hollering at this woman like she's supposed to be keeping a track of what this grown man doing. Kathy said, well, bitch, I was at work. Okay, so what the fuck you want me to do about it? Baby, Kathy better than me. You know, David probably going to be the one that's going to really snap off on Brooke because he has had it, you know. But yeah, also, Troy and Zaria. They pregnant. We saw them being 6 months pregnant later on. And then he called his mama, got her a ticket to bring her out there so that he could tell her that they pregnant. Mind you, I'm pretty sure this is after all of the mess that happened. Because if you watched the original season with them on there when they first got on there, and then when that first part of the season went off, they was on Facebook just cutting up. And at that moment in time, Karen was calling Zaria out on everything. You a hoe this. You ran through. This happened. This happened. They was just laying all her shit bare. Okay. And I was just like, oh my God. At the end of the day, I understand that you don't fuck with the girl, but that's still your son's wife. And she ain't going nowhere until he done with her. Okay. So like, why we doing all of this? And I don't even like the bitch. Right. But then now she pregnant, and I'm like, oh, truth be told, I wouldn't even brought Karen out there to my home to tell her that my wife is pregnant. Bitch, I tell you through a text message because I don't want to hear that shit, okay? And she's 6 months, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely not. But going back to when they was in Buffalo, with the father's memorial, and to see Troy, he kind of calmed down a little bit, but you could tell that he was emotionally spent. Okay, it was a lot. And so he was with his daughter, and then he gets a phone call, and it was Yana. He goes out there to talk to Yana and basically tell her, because she was coming to pick up baby Troy, but to tell her, I appreciate you for letting baby Troy come with me and, be here, and, I don't want any drama. I see that you trying to do better. I'm trying to do better. I applaud you on this. He was being nice. And I feel like, I don't know if it's for the cameras or not, but Troy do gives off the nice guy vibe. And then sometimes those nice guy vibes be the main ones that you got to look out for. But I really think that he was really being for real because, again, he just went through a very emotional day. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't trying to fight. And my thing is, Yana, she finally came to the point where, yeah, it's okay for you to see your daughter and all this shit, which it shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. Again, you have people out here, you have women out here begging their baby's fathers to be a part of their child's life. And yet you have a man right here who is trying so hard to be a part of his baby's life, and you are stopping it because you can't get with him, and because he moved on to another woman that you don't like. And 9 out of 10, the only reason why you don't like her is because she is with him and you were not the one that was chosen. That's just really what it was, okay? Because she still feels some type of way about Zaria. Until this moment, I need somebody to refresh my memory to tell me exactly what it is that went down between Zaria and Yana. Because Yana said she don't, because he said, and maybe one day it'll get to the point where you and Zaria can be in the same room with each other, whatever, but I'll let you work that out on your own time. I'm not gonna force anything. She said it'll never happen. It'll never happen. I don't want her around my baby. I don't want her around me or whatever, because there's no reason why we need to see each other and all this stuff and woo woo woo. I hate that attitude. You cannot fuck with somebody or whatever, but at the end of the day, that is that man's wife. That man's wife is going to be around your child. That man's wife is going to be around your child when you're not there, when she's in his custody, okay? When he's with her, all right? When he has her for a couple of weeks, where the baby going to be staying at? In his home, in the home that he shares with his wife, which means that she's going to see and interact with the wife. So therefore, wouldn't you want to get acquainted and get on somewhat of a good footing or cordial feeling, amicable situation with the wife? Because I wouldn't want somebody that I have an issue with around my child, and they know I have an issue with them, because motherfuckers are crazy these days, and they can take their issues out on a child and be like, well, since the mama got something to do with it or whatever, feel some type of way, fuck the daughter and all that shit. You better be glad you don't have that type of situation. You are childish as fuck, Yana. You are childish fuck, and at the end of the day, you need to grow the fuck up, get you some therapy if you need to get over this man, and go find you somebody else. I'm pretty sure you probably got other suitors, okay? And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to let that guard down slightly and to just be like, we got to be adults. Because at the end of the day, as long as y'all married, you're going to be in my child's life because you're with her father. And again, Zaria is not going nowhere now that she's pregnant with his baby. So you're going to have to eat that and you're going to have to suck it up. That's just really what it is. But anyway, that was the episode, y'all. Cute episode. Not much, though, but it was decent enough. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Be safe. And I will see y'all later. Bitch, let me tell y'all something. I had to say this. I went out to go get some groceries and I come back home. Baby, I ain't realized that the neighbors next door was gone. The one that be out there arguing so much. I don't know if I told y'all about that. The one that be always fighting with each other and shit. They are gone. Maintenance people was putting a new lock on the door, empty apartment, everything. And on the one hand, yes. On the other hand, I'm a little concerned. I just hope she leaves him. Okay? Because the way that he be dogging her out and all that shit, like, ew. Gotta step away. But I hope they alright. And I hope y'all do alright too. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.